It is the 25th of October, and there are 11 days left until the American people, more than 160 million of us, will vote. We will choose the 47th President of the United States in an election that has become existential. This is the warning. It's existential because this time there are not two candidates of two parties competing over a different vision of a shared goal to make the union stronger. This time, one of the candidates is a liar, is a demagogue, is a fascist who disdains the American way of life, the cornerstone of our civilization. And yes, it is a unique civilization, the only one in the history of the world made up of all of the peoples of the world, a country built on an idea, not blood and soil nationalism. The idea is about liberty, about the individual, the notion that we are all endowed by a creator, not named, a creator with certain inalienable rights that can't be taken away and are not man's, not a king's, not an emperor's, not Trump's to grant. They are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What this requires is freedom and liberty. I've said often in my writing and on these videos that without freedom, there is no rock and roll. Bruce Springsteen understands this. Let's listen to him and listen carefully because what he says is very important. Note the distinction, what he supports, yet also what he opposes. Today, I'm going to talk about opposition, defiance, because these values, that spirit attached to fierceness, is elemental in the national character. But over to the pride of New Jersey, the boss.
I'm Bruce Springsteen, and I am here today to support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for President and Vice President of the United States, and to oppose Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Now, here's why. I want a president who reveres the Constitution, who does not threaten but wants to protect and guide our great democracy, who believes in the rule of law and the peaceful transfer of power, who will fight for a woman's right to choose, and who wants to create a middle-class economy that will serve all our citizens. There is only one candidate in this election who holds those principles dear: Kamala Harris.
A president takes the only oath that's written into the U.S. Constitution. It's 35 words long, and it's been sworn by every president. Washington took it, John Adams took it, Thomas Jefferson took it, Abraham Lincoln took it. All took the same oath. I do solemnly swear to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America to the best of my ability, so help me God, is the money line. It was this man who desecrated it. He refused to accept the results of a free and fair election that he lost. Instead, he incited violence. He sent a mob to attack our government of the people, by the people, for the people. He tried to take that from us for himself. Donald Trump tried to anoint himself dictator. Listen to his malice. It's not new. It goes all the way back to the beginning.
They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
He is a man who sat in the Oval Office and asked when Black Americans, yes, Black Americans, were peacefully protesting in front of the White House whether the military could shoot them. The restraint he showed was this: he didn't want to shoot to kill, just shoot to maim. This is a man who believes Adolf Hitler did some good things. Donald Trump admires this man. It's sick. He's a fascist. And we will see in these final 11 days him fully bare his fangs. Donald Trump is a man of menace. He's a divider, spewing hate wherever he goes. And the crowds cheer. They look big on the television because all you see is Donald Trump standing supreme in front of a cult that cheers and worships every insanity and every incoherent utterance. It doesn't matter. But that's a mirage. It's not real. This is a giant nation of 340 million people. In fact, almost half of all Americans who have ever lived since the beginning of the Declaration of Independence are alive right now. Are we going to cashier American liberty? Are we going to put into the trash can American freedom? Donald Trump smears the United States every chance he gets. Here he is yesterday calling it a garbage can.
Right, and we're a dumping ground. We're like a garbage can for the world. That's what's happened. That's what's happened to we're like a garbage can. You know, it's the first time I've ever said that. And every time I come up and talk about what they've done to our country, I get angrier and angrier. First time I've ever said garbage can, but you know what? It's a very accurate description.
Here's a question. Donald's not that bright, but even he might have given himself some pause by pondering the obvious. If we're such a garbage can, why do so many people from around the world want to come here? And the answer to that question is there's no place like it on earth. There is no place with more opportunity. There is no place where in one generation's time, the child of an immigrant can become the president of the United States. Somewhere in America, today, every language known to man will be spoken somewhere in our country. It's what makes us strong, not weak. Together, in this experiment where freedom has expanded to include everybody, where we now understand that it is the content of character, not the pigment of skin color, that ought to determine destiny, this country, our country, the United States, our ancestors, Americans, have fed more people, cured more people, liberated more people than the peoples of every other nation put together since the beginning of time. We Americans stand for an idea that's luminescent. We reject the idea of kings and emperors and dictators, the notion that power flows from the top down, that the sprinklings, the tastes of freedom that are granted by a king are no such thing, because freedom is not his to give nor his to take. This is the essence of Americanism. We, the people, in order to form a more perfect union. So it's not enough to vote for Vice President Harris and to affirm her as commander-in-chief. This is a moment that requires defiance and fierce opposition. I rise in opposition to Donald Trump because I reject his assault on the freedom of speech. I reject his assault on dissent and the freedom of conscience. I find his threats of punishment and retribution to be morally repugnant and deeply un-American. I will oppose his malice and his cruelty and his misogyny and his racism, and I will oppose his disgusting character. This man is an adjudicated rapist, and we propose to allow him to stand behind the seal of the President of the United States of America, flanked by the flag of our nation and the flag of the President of the United States. It is sick. It is perverted. It is indecent, and it is unworthy. We have gotten here to this muddy, disgusting river, polluted by MAGA and polluted by Trumpism, because there was a lot of dumping of a lot of acid into the waters by America's corrupted and broken news media, who covered Donald Trump as a ringmaster, not a fascist threat, who covered him as a clown, but not a toxic one. This moment has arrived because there's more derelictions than can be counted. There are more evasions of responsibility that can be listed. This is a moment for every American to appreciate what loyalty we owe. We owe not to the letter of a political party next to the name onto the ballot, but to an idea paid in blood, refreshed in blood, and passed down to us so that it may be preserved for the next generation and the one after that and the one after that. Donald Trump is unfit in a spectacular, historic, fundamental way. He worships Hitler, not the Constitution. He celebrates violence, not unity. He pushes division like a junkie receives heroin from their pusher. This vile man must not win. And that requires two things: a vote for something better, which Kamala Harris has offered, and a strong vote that says never, never again, never, ever will a man like Donald Trump be the president. Not with my vote, not with my efforts. This is a moment that requires action, requires you to do something. Donald Trump is exactly what he appears to be, which is a grave danger to you, to your friends, to your children, to your loved ones, to your community, to your state, to your nation, and to your way of life. He's made it clear. Can you hear him?
And until we get a fair and free press in this country, they're just bad people. I mean, look how easy. Here you have, all they have to do is just go, huh? 1 inch this way and 1 inch this way, and you got it. They don't want to do that. They're the enemy of the people. They are.
Let's make the smart choice. Let's make the right choice. Let's make the moral choice. Let's make the American choice. Kamala Harris for President of the United States of America. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.